Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. Dr. Earl and Mikey are back.
We're back
for Yellowstone Season 3, Episode 6. We are actually more than halfway through the season, I believe.
Yeah.
9
episodes?
I think it's only like 9 episodes. The season finale is August 23rd, I believe. So we're close. I mean, we're real. It ends in August. And I got a scary email. I watch on Sling, and so Sling sends out this random email that says, "Oh, we're getting rid of the Paramount Network from their channel guide." But then, but luckily, I read through the email. At the very end of the email, it says, "Don't worry, people that are watching season 3, it doesn't cut off until August 31st." So I'll get to finish the season, and then next season I'm gonna have to figure out another way to watch the show. So I've got some ways. I've got ways that I can watch these things. So very. I would call this an interesting episode. It was a slow burn.
It was more of a setup and sort of development for the next. What's going to happen for the rest of the episodes, I guess.
Yeah, and we haven't spent, in previous seasons, we spend a lot of time on the Indian reservation because, because naturally, Casey is
living there, right?
Living there in season 1, and then in season 2, he's transitioning away from there. But his girlfriend, wife, whatever she is, is a Native American that wanted to originally stay on the reservation, and through season 1 and 2, she transitions to live on the Dutton Ranch. But so this is really the first time this season that we've spent a lot of time on the reservation, just sort of shining a spotlight, I think, and that's a good thing that this show does.
Yeah,
it shines a spotlight on the troubles that are occurring on a lot of Native American reservations in this country. I mean, generally speaking, the only money flow that they ever have is through, casinos and whatnot. And Melissa's right. This particular episode, Melissa's right though. Watching this episode,
I'm sorry.
Made her antsy. It was a good setup, but really frustrating because of so much was revealed, but still unanswered. That's a really good, synopsis of the episode. But I mean,
sorry, Melissa. I was thinking about the character, Monica. But just mispronouncing.
But it was cool to be back on the reservation. I mean, that's some of the stuff that I like. I mean, because Indian reservations are always really interesting to me. I mean, there's been tons of movies over the years, like Thunder Heart's a really good one, or Wind River, most recently is a really good one. And so it's one of those things that I always like it when we get back there. Now this time though, it was kind of for unfortunate reasons. We find that this girl is missing.
Sila was her name.
Sila was her name. She's missing. The beginning of the episode, her mom is frantically calling anyone and everyone, and we find out that she, never came home.
Right.
They find her car and fear the worst.
We don't really know. We don't ever find out exactly what happened to her, right? I mean, we know that she died, but. Sorry,
no, you're right. I mean, but they do imply foul play. That they don't, because I think that if you're watching this episode, and as always, we're doing full spoilers on these things, but as you're watching the episode and as it progresses, when they do find the body, as a viewer, if they don't tell you that they suspect foul play, you could have thought that maybe she was in the dark and fell down into that ravine.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe drinking and maybe just walked off the edge.
No, but they really imply foul play.
That's not a Taylor Sheridan way to just have a natural.
No,
everything has something that's sinisterly happening.
Yeah, there's no. No, it's never an easygoing show or whatever.
No. It's not going to be something just natural.
So
we had a dragnet where they called all the people in, and so I thought it was really neat how Casey sort of like, he asked Casey, and Casey said, "Well, let's see what I can do." and they brought all those students over from her school, which I guess is Montana University.
Well, yeah, it's one of the universities that she is a teacher at. Yeah.
And they and I like how he kind of said, nope, don't come any further.
Right.
Because when he found the body, because Rainwater found her, right?
Yeah, Rainwater is the one that found her, and it was really funny. Like, he's always in a suit. I find that really interesting. Like, even when he knows,
professional.
Well, it's funny because he knows he's going to do this search for this girl, and he shows up in a suit. And then I'm like, dude, what's this about? But yeah, I mean, he
image, man.
I know. He likes to present himself in this way, but I mean, just continuing that storyline, and we can break it up into the different things that happen in the episode. But I mean, this is really the first time that we see Rainwater and Casey interact in any real way.
That was interesting, yeah.
So Rainwater right away knew who he could call. And I think he makes a funny comment that there's always a Dutton in high places or something like that. I mean,
well, it's just changed about 3 times, right?
Right. So Casey gets the phone call from Rainwater, and he's like more than willing to help. And I think for Casey, he still feels that connection to the reservation.
Sure.
I mean, and I mean, especially with him being married to Monica and his son being theoretically, half Native American.
Sure.
I mean, he's got a strong connection. And then we've seen even that some of like the where he's real, like almost can talk to, like, calm the wolves down and stuff. There's some stuff going on with Casey. I mean, he's an interesting cat.
Well, no, I don't think he.
He's an interesting cat. He's got some powers over the wolves.
I don't know if he was talking to animals or anything. I just think I don't know. He sees himself as the wolf or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something we'll find out more about, I guess. But
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, like Melissa says, I mean, unfortunately, when they kind of end that particular storyline in this episode, they do find the body, and it was really sad. I mean, and we kind of knew it was coming, but it was just one of those things that is inevitable in a Taylor Sheridan written show or a Taylor.
It's not going to be a happy, hey, we found her. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like ends that particular storyline. And there's a couple other things going on. I think the most important of which is the Beth storyline. And man, she had some really great scenes. Kelly Riley had some really great scenes with Jamie. And I can't ever remember that guy's name as an actor. Wes Bentley. Yeah, he's been around forever.
I think he's a good actor. I think did good. Yeah, so
that scene. Talk about that scene.
This is all getting dredged up right now, right?
And
I'm really worried. So I'm worried what's going to happen when Rip finds out, because I think he'll kill Jamie. Dude, I would not want for him to find out that he took away that. I think he's going to be hurt. He's going to be hurt, of course.
So you bring up and this is just complete speculation on my part, but you bring up an interesting thought there, because thinking about Beth and how conniving she is, and she always seems to be one step ahead of everyone. So she is creating strife between, and there's always been kind of strife, but more strife between Jamie and her dad.
Yeah.
And
back at him.
And it's even like elevating to a level now where John Dutton is like, how could you, for lack of a better term, how could you take away Beth's opportunity to have a child? You did not think about the future of this ranch, basically. They explain it a lot better. The episode, I think it was 2 episodes ago, where they're like, if you come to this clinic, you're going to be sterilized.
Basically, hysterectomy, yeah.
So basically, that's what they did. They did a hysterectomy, which is, permanent. That's not something you can necessarily go back on.
Yeah, I'd like to find out more about if that really does happen on Indian Health. services. I can't
Yeah,
imagine. I mean,
I
definitely
don't
not now. Maybe back in the 70s or something. But
right.
it just
So
seems anyway.
John's thinking about the future, obviously,
Always.
and he's always thinking about the future. So you brought up Rip. What if Beth's end game here is to marry Rip and have Rip take over the ranch because Jamie's out of the picture, and at some point I wonder if something's going to happen to Casey. I mean, because this show is not going to end in a happy way. However many seasons it goes, this is not necessarily a show that I feel like is going to end in a happy way. And so I wonder if Beth is playing the long game here, not necessarily for this season, but she's playing the long game here, trying to pit John against Jamie first, and then who knows what'll happen with Casey. But to marry Rip, and then Jamie, or then Rip and Beth will have the ranch.
Here's the thing. So Case, the guy who plays Casey is always listed second to Kevin Costner at the beginning.
Interesting.
So Lou Grimes is always listed second. I think he is going to be the good son. He's the one that's most like John Dutton. This is just my speculation.
Yeah.
Now Beth may be trying to finagle something here.
Well, because she's always, it's never a straight game with her. There's always something going on with her.
I think right now, because she is sort of in this relationship with Rip, that some of this hurt has suddenly resurfaced, that she thinks about, her, I can't do a family with, and this was our child. It was her and Rip's child, right? So.
Oh, no, I don't know that. Did they? I don't think they said that, did they?
I thought they did say that when she was that teenager.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that was her and Rip.
Wasn't it their child? I thought it was.
It may have been. I was thinking. So, man, yeah, you're right. Then I mean, if Rip finds out about that, then he will.
Jamie not. I don't think Jamie's
a dead man. Yeah. I mean, there's no way.
Gosh, that's the wrong guy you want to kill his baby.
Man.
I mean, anyway, that's a terrible statement. I retract that statement.
No, but I mean, you're right though. I mean, that's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting too that Jamie is now being courted by whatever this global, that there's this lady that shows up.
Yeah. And that's the first time we've kind of really seen her character.
And she's kind of Josh Holloway's, what's his name? I always forget his name. The guy who works for, let's see what they're called. Global conglomerate.
Melissa agrees with me. Look, she says she thinks Casey's going to bite it, and she thinks Beth is just conniving enough, and I think we'll get a whole season of tiny subplots on this. So maybe not. We might not see the fruition of this in season 3.
Not this season. Yeah.
But we've got. I think that Beth is always playing the long game. I mean, I think that she just is. That's just her nature. And she knows how to twist that knife better than anybody. I mean, I know that Jamie thinks he's some conniving genius, but he always gets distracted, like we see in this episode, even with the dollar signs. Like,
sorry, I was looking here. They're called Market Equities, and their CEO is called Willa Hayes.
Yeah, I think she's going to be a good. I think, in at the end of the episode, obviously they show like the preview for the rest of the season. I think she and Beth are going to have some good one-on-one battles with each other.
And that lady, that counselor, the lawyer for Rainwater too.
She's
seen her yet. I want to see her in action.
No, we haven't seen her yet. We're going to get to see her and Beth team up against Market Equities. I really want to see more of
I tell you what I thought was going to happen, and now I'm not so sure. But originally I thought this guy, because Beth is going to feel so conflicted about this relationship, this situation, and she's not quite sure about Rip, that she was going to sort of maybe get charmed, but also try to sexually entice Roark.
Oh, Josh Holloway's character.
And then Rip finds out about it, and betrayed.
Yeah, I mean, I think the back half of the season is going to be all Josh Holloway. I think we're about to see much more.
Okay.
Yeah, because think about it, we've only got 3 or 4 episodes left of this season. I think we're good. I think if you're going to have a guy like Josh Holloway, it's time for him to be center stage.
Well, I'll be honest. This could be a 2-season event here with this market.
And it could be, yeah, and that's true. Yeah, you're right. I mean, we might not end up tying up, the only reason I say that is because season 1 and 2 had very distinct things tied up at the end of each season.
Distinct villains, I felt like.
Yeah, distinct villains, and then like really the plot ended, and you knew that wasn't going to be carrying over to the next season. But you're right. I mean, this could be a much longer process. I didn't realize that it was ending that quickly, like August 23rd. I didn't realize we really only have, like three or 4 episodes left. It might be like a 2-hour season finale or something on the 23rd. Yeah. I don't know. They do that quite a bit, but they're trying to wrap it up quickly before the fall TV season, I guess, which doesn't really mean anything with streaming services anymore. I mean, you've got so much new content constantly on 500 different streaming services.
Yes. Yeah. I think NBC's about to give up on their broadcasts the way they're.
Who knows? I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
Anyway, that's a whole. So what you think about? So what's the old guy's name? Lloyd or something?
Yeah, I mean,
he said something about funny. 2 dances, and here I am hauling them to the arena. Saddling.
Yeah, it's funny that girl and he are in sort of like a lovey-dovey relationship. I think that's a little unrealistic, but who knows? I mean, he is a cowboy. Yeah. The women fall for the cowboys. But I mean,
it's the stash, man.
The whole bunkhouse subplot this season has not done much for me.
That's not your thing, I know.
Well, I mean, and I like
Hater.
No.
Hater.
Good grief. So yeah, and we've got yet another subplot starting with these Buffalo guys, right? So
well, that's pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, Dutton and this guy have a past, obviously.
They do, yeah.
You can tell that he has a past with this guy. And the guy's like, and Dutton's like, we're getting a little long in the tooth to have these feuds, and the other guy's like, feuds are what makes it worth living, and he just wants to keep it going.
You can tell this guy's a grizzled up. Now, that would be cool if they did a flashback with like Josh Lucas. And guy, and to see what their history is. That would be interesting to see.
They're going to have to do that at some point. I mean,
maybe this is going to be a long game subplot. I think this one's going to be wrapped up though, probably by the end of the season.
But the explanation for this was good for me because like the last episode when the whole Buffalo thing was introduced, I was like, what's this about? So it's basically market equities. It got all these buffaloes on land to take tourists over there and make some money while they're waiting on this deal to go on with the city they're building. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting subplot. There was like 4, and then they go and then the bunkhouse people go ride the buffalo. I mean, it's just, I'm not about that. It's just silly. I don't care. I want more of the main plot.
You want the Dutton dynasty.
Yeah, I want
all this subplot. Buffalo riding.
I'm cool with like anything happening on the Indian reservation. I love that stuff, and I love obviously the Dutton stuff, and I love Rourke and Beth. I love the market equity stuff, but the Buffalo subplot is kind of like boring to me a little bit. I mean, that was the only part of this episode that I wasn't really thrilled with. But I like the fact that there looks to be more happening with Monica and Rainwater.
Yeah, she's been sort of dormant this first half of the season, I felt.
Right.
She's up at that summer camp.
Mm-hmm.
And don't you feel like she's been sort of like starting to assimilate a little bit more into Dutton life?
Oh, yeah. No.
And now I think Rainwater's going to say, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We're your real people. Why are you?
He's going to remind her, basically.
And there's going to be some confliction. She's going to have to make a choice at some point, maybe. I don't know.
I
that
think,
may be a long game thing too. I don't know, but
no, I think it will. I mean, I think some of this stuff is going to have to go in since they're apparently doing so few episodes this season. I mean, I think some of this stuff is going to have to go into season 4 and and continue the storylines. This was interesting. He's starting, like, Rainwater wants to start this organization. I can't recall with Monica. Basically, he wants Monica to head up this organization on the reservation. But I think you're right.
Let's see if my recap has any thoughts on that. I just
well, I mean, the whole deal is the end game there. I think exactly like you said, is that he is going to want to woo her back to the reservation, basically away from the Duttons.
addressing violence against women on reservations is what.
Right.
Forming a council to address that.
Yeah. So she's going to head up this council that Rainwater, and that's going to be something that she's obviously passionate about, because we've seen her with her activism at the beginning of, like, even like season 1 and season 2. I mean, she was really into the activism side of the reservation, and then she got totally swept up in the Dutton lifestyle. And I think that this shakes her. This event that happened on the reservation is going to shake her enough, and now this council that Rainwater is wanting her to be a part of is going to shake her enough to get her to come back to the reservation, where and there's going to be some conflict there, because ultimately she's going to want to bring Tate with her, obviously, and Casey might not be ready for them to leave.
Or is she going to want to approach the DA, who's Jamie, about all of these women who are being violently abused, and he's going to try to manipulate something? I mean, there's some interesting different angles that could go with that.
Jamie is such a
man. At the end there, when he busted out the window and he says, "I've only ever given myself for this family," and of course Casey's just like, what's going on?
Casey had to. I mean, Jamie's about to have everybody turned against him, which is ultimately what Beth wants. I mean, Beth ultimately wants Jamie out of the family. I mean, I think that she holds.
No, there's a lot of hurt, man. That's a big thing that he did to her. So I mean, I can understand.
Yeah, and Melissa makes a really good point here, and at the end of the episode, they even throw up a real life organization.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Which was really cool.
And I think that's cool. I mean, that's why not use a show like this that a lot of people are watching to raise awareness for some of the issues. I mean, it's certainly well known that on Indian reservations, there's a lot of it's just a rough situation in a lot of ways. And so a show like this, and I think Taylor Sheridan, I think he's originally from Texas. And so he's aware of all this stuff, and it's good. It's good to use a show like this for that type of thing. So I think it can only be good things when you're doing that. It just depends. I mean, some of the stuff I don't want them to go too far with, but look, the reality is that people group has not been treated very well by our country. I mean, that's a reality. Sure. And you can't turn your back on that. Whether you like to hear that or not, it's the truth. And so, however Rainwater wants to convey that, we deserve it, in certain ways. I mean, ultimately from a government standpoint, for sure. But yeah, I just think Beth is playing a really long game here, and she's just the chess. It's always a chessboard with her. She's moving the pieces. She's getting John. She's getting her dad. So you far, Jamie
better than I am. I think she's got just a lot of hurt.
No, she certainly does, and we're certainly seeing a lot of that. Yeah,
but I think she may be the key. She definitely. Well, you're right. She definitely wants Jamie to be lowered in the eyes of John.
Oh yeah.
And she wants to be the hero that saves the family.
Yeah.
From this market equities group.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was. Yeah. I mean, I think there's all that. All that's part of it. And I think she will be the one who. Her and maybe this lawyer from the tribe.
Right.
Will both be the ones to sort of. Push back against this, because they said their plan is we just cause enough problems that eventually market equities will say, well, this is just not worth it. We'll take this thing somewhere else.
So
that's the game plan. Unless Jamie sells out, which
God.
But I mean, think about the offer they're giving though. $500 million. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's good for land or not. Maybe that's low balling. I don't know.
No, that's not low balling.
No, that's a lot of money.
That's not, and you saw that, like, he was taken aback. Like, he was physically like, "Whoa, that's a lot of money."
Yeah,
and I think there's nothing in Jamie that will get him to a point where he thinks about his family first in this situation. That is not he has no ability to do that. I'm afraid that.
Yeah, I keep wanting him to be a redeemed character, but then they do this thing with sterilization. I feel bad but hey.
Look, man, he's not Kylo Ren. He's not Ben Solo. There's no redemption here. There's no redemption for Jamie. No, I mean it's over for him. I think that, I mean, and now that he's gotten to a point where John has found out about the past now with what happened.
John was just like, I don't know what to do. He just kind of went out there.
Oh yeah, I mean, and and it's frustrating for him because he's just like, everything that I've ever done is worthless. Yeah. I mean, he's in a position now where he's only thought about the future, and he tried as hard as he could after his wife passed away. And poor Beth, even felt some guilt for that. Because she was out in the middle of nowhere with her mom when that happened. I mean, and it was a freak accident that she really had nothing to do with. But this poor girl's life has been just constant, emotional trauma, basically. She hasn't had any moments in her life where she has had much joy. This season. This season we've seen more of that with her relationship with Rip blossoming into something that's not dysfunctional. Yes. Before their relationship was quite dysfunctional, but now like now they're at a point where they don't feel like they have to hide it from John. I mean, John even acknowledged that a couple episodes back. Is like, look, you guys you can hold hands. You don't have to hide this from me anymore.
And the big story. Don't forget the big story of this episode. Will Jimmy go back to rodeo?
Jimmy. Dude, whatever. No, look, I like the Jimmy character a lot.
Follow your heart, Jimmy.
But that particular plot doesn't interest me that much.
I know. We'll get I'm sorry, you're not a bunkhouse guy.
But that's all bunkhouse talk, and you watch that little bunkhouse thing after each episode that I don't ever get
episodes yet.
I don't ever get to see it, so I don't even know anything about that.
It's on the Paramount streaming service. You can watch, like, each episode has a little
Melissa, she's right. I mean, when John at the end said that line, all this was for nothing. It was. I mean, because
that's the name of the episode, actually.
Yeah, this guy has worked his whole life to accumulate this wealth and have this ranch, and he's always attacked. Like, there is, season 1 was the Indian reservation. Season 2 was these businessmen with Neil McDonough, these brothers.
Those guys were way out of control too. I was thinking about that last season. I was like, those guys couldn't exist in real society, beating people. Just
hey, it's Montana.
Maybe in the West, I don't know.
It's Montana, and then market equities. I mean, look, it's the reality of it. I mean, like this Willa lady said. I mean, this is progress. I mean, you can't deny the fact.
I'm totally on her side about it because I want to go skiing somewhere. So I'm like, yeah, let's build a resort. Forget that.
Exactly. So I
500 million.
Yeah, overall, I liked the episode. It was a little bit slower, and I was sort of taken aback that they started it on the reservation and they started with that storyline, but it made sense as the episode went on, like what the end game was with that particular plot point. So I really enjoyed it.
And it was tied into that statement at the very end, like you said.
Exactly.
And maybe that's a thing on these reservations, that that there's no protection for these young girls in these desolate areas. And I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's it. That's a good synopsis. I think
Episode 6.
Episode 6. Like I said, we've really only got. I mean, if you look at the calendar, we've only got about 4 episodes. If they do a 2-hour finale, maybe they'll do like a 2 episodes in one.
Have they done a 2-hour finale before? I don't think they
have. But if they're trying to get done by August 23rd, then I mean,
that's still. I mean, it's even the last seasons have been what, 9 episodes, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, they're right on track to do their.
They're on track. But man, the so many things that they need to tie up in these last few episodes. These are going to be crazy episodes. I mean, it's going to be like it's going to be nonstop.
John Dutton.
Yeah. As always, the thing with YouTube that we're trying to do here, and hopefully we can take it beyond, this particular show, but we're trying this Deucecast Extra thing. We're trying to have a presence on YouTube. The thing that'll help us the most, obviously, is if you subscribe to the channel, like it, share it with people, let people know that you're watching our channel, so we can try and get some subscribers to help us continue to be able to do this YouTube thing. Maybe we can talk Dave into coming on here. He's a busy guy, so it's hard to get him to do anything extra as this is. But we're proud members, as always, of RetroZap. It's a channel that really has been an advocate for us and has helped us these last several years that we've been a part of them. So go certainly check out retrozap.com. And then, of course, we've got our flagship podcast where, we've been doing it with Dr. Earl really from the beginning in some capacity for about 10 years now. Earl's been around from the beginning. And it's been
I was
been
just
fun.
a guest back in the day, right?
You were just a guest back in the day. Now you've graduated to a host. Yes, thank you. So you can find me on Twitter at the Michael Nip. You can find the Deucecast on Twitter at the Deucecast. Dr. Earl, as always, is off the grid though. You will not be able to find Dr. Earl. But if you use hashtag Twitterless Dr. Earl, I will see that and I will get messages to Dr. Earl. So if you're on Twitter and you want Dr. Earl to see something, use that hashtag. I will get that message to us. If you've liked what we've done here, you can also always email us at thedeucecast@gmail.com. Let us know what you like about Yellowstone. Let us know any other shows that you might want us to do this particular format on. And if Earl and I are both watching it, maybe we can do it. In hindsight, I really wish we would have done
We'll find people who do watch it and we'll put them on.
Right. In hindsight, I really wish we had done the last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I do too.
It's been so fun. It's been a really fun season. I'm loving every minute. Although they are back to Inhuman stuff, which is not my favorite thing. But it's
this last episode, I was like,
it's
all Tom Garrett back. I was like,
I know.
I had to look back and say, who was that? And I was like, oh, Bill Paxton. Wow.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's been a fun season for that too. But I think there's other shows coming out that Earl and I both watch that maybe are having some different seasons that maybe in the future, next year, whenever it comes out, we can do the Lord of the Rings show on Amazon. That would be something because I know
I think that'll be out next year.
I think so. Yeah, 2021.
Mandalorian season 2.
Ooh, let's put that down. That's October. We will definitely be doing Mandalorian season 2.
I'm going to write that down right now.
Put that on your calendar. October. That is going to be a Deucecast extra for sure. And I bet we can talk Dave into doing that one with us. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah, or Ryfin or Rhett,
Oh yeah, we can bring people on for that because that
Star Wars guys much,
that is a show that everyone watches that's in our friend group. So we can bring a bunch of people on for that one. That'll be a fun one. So for now though, this has been episode 6 of season 3 of Yellowstone, and incidentally episode 6 of the Deucecast Extra. I hope everybody has a good night and go rope some cattle.